Welcome to the Choosing Happiness podcast with me, your host, Rudrani Devi, the Happiness Lady. In these conversations, we will be discussing an uncommon way to find joy in your life with weekly special guests. Did you know you could choose your happy? Won't you come and play and discover how these magical tools could work for you? Let's do this! Well, howdy, y'all. Rudrani Devi, the Happiness Lady, here with another episode of the Choosing Happiness podcast. That's right. And, y'all, I got a repeat offender. I've been trying to have a conversation with this beautiful, wonderful lady about water for, I don't know, since I met her, and she keeps avoiding me. And so I had to actually invite her back on my podcast just to have this conversation because I thought I knew everything about water. Right? I even have a Kangen water machine, which, y'all, that's like a $4,000 water machine. That's what kind of a snob I be when it comes to water. Okay. So I had to invite her back on the podcast just so I could actually have this conversation. So thank you so much, Miss Lisa Kirby, for agreeing to have this conversation with me. I am so excited. You can't imagine.
Oh, thank you for having me. And you had me at, I remember in one of our online workouts, you were showing your like deuterium depleted water. And I was like, anyone who knows what deuterium is, period, I need to talk to this woman more, and we need a separate time for it because you can go so far down the rabbit hole. And I think for most people, it can be overwhelming. So I'm happy to have this moment with you to pick your brain as well.
Well, we'll try. I've got a feeling you know a heck of a lot more than I do. And the thing is I know I've been talking to people about water for so long. I thought, surely there's some people out there in the world in the Choosing Happiness podcast land that want to know more about water. So without further ado, what is water? We're made up mostly of it, right?
Yes.
What do you know about water? Just water before we even get in. Because y'all, if you're on the YouTubes, you need to check out this cornucopia of water selections I got over here. Anyway.
So I remember my interest peaked in water when my mom came home with a book one day. I want to say I was either in high school or maybe slightly younger. And it was like the time of Enya and Yanni and like new age spiritual and like, you know, just this information overload of like new wave spiritualism. And she came home with this book called, now I want to make sure that I have the right book.
Is it Emoto's book?
The Hidden Messages.
Water?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So, I have a signed copy.
It's so amazing. And for anyone who doesn't know, it's an incredible book. This by a Japanese author who started photographing. Well, he had his own little experiments, and I was fascinated by his interest in water, where he would have like water bottles or, you know, different like whatever his scientific method was for measuring the impact of a word, a spoken word, or feeling, even just thoughts like love versus hate, and the impact that had on the water. And he was able to take photographs of like the crystalline structure and how it changed just on thought or words alone. And like that, from that point on, I was like, this is so like water is God. Like this is water.
And mostly made up of it, y'all. Think about it.
Yep.
Think about how your body is reacting to anything that's negative or positive. And it was also music that affected the water.
Yes.
You know, like classical versus metal music. And I'm not poo-pooing metal music, y'all. Okay. I'm just saying that, you know, music carries vibration as well. And so anyway, continue, s'il vous plaît.
Absolutely. And it got me thinking of like, to your point, exactly. So we're mostly water, and just words and thought and music, all these things can have an impact on water. What does that say about our own internal thoughts and our own beliefs and our own self-talk? So I kind of was putting the bits and pieces together and left that for a while, went to college and blah, blah, blah. And didn't really revisit it until I started reading some books by Dr. Thomas Cowan. And he was the first, just in the last few years. Most of his books are banned from Amazon, so you probably haven't seen them.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah. Really? very
You're gonna have to
controversial
do
out
some
there.
screenshots. You're gonna have to do some screenshots
Yeah.
of the green door.
Yes.
Like
So very
talking about.
controversial in the sense that he discusses the fourth state of water in the body is this plasma state, and that the root of all like common disease nowadays is at the mitochondrial cellular level and has to do with the erratic kind of disoriented, disorganized fourth state that it doesn't exist with people who are in dis-ease. So his kind of theory is that like the fourth state of water is this plasma inside the cells. When that's structured and healthy, you have a healthy body. When it is disoriented because of everything from diet to EMFs to poor sleep to poor lifestyle habits, that structure becomes disoriented and it allows illness in the body.
Oh wow.
And that kind of took me from there of like, well, how do we make it structured? And then that led me to the finding Kangen, which was just mind blowing.
Yeah, you guys. So I'm a distributor. Lisa, do you also distribute King? I was so sold on. It was so funny because this friend of mine was trying to sell me on it, and he's. I do these cleanses and we would do colonics and all the things. Y'all know how crazy I'd be anyway. And he was like, "Oh my God, I found this water machine. It is so amazing." And I'm like, "Another water machine, sure, whatever." And he goes, "Well, I'm going to give you a gallon of it." And he did it in glass because he didn't want the water to leach from any plastic. So he had this big glass thing and he says, "You can get this back to me," but he goes, "I want you to drink this water and then tell me how you feel." Well, I'm a big meditator, y'all. And I always drink a lot of water when I first get up. And then I go and sit in my hot tub and meditate. Or sometimes I sit under my tree. I have a beautiful tree. I named her Buddha. She's, a dogwood, so it looks like Christ or whatever they say. And I was like, well, I do feel her spirit. So she's Buddha. I don't know how many girls are named Buddha, but anyway, or I would sit under there and I would connect with this water while I was meditating, and I could perceive it wanting to gift to me. And I drank this whole giant thing. I think it was like 3-liter thing in 2 days, over 2 days. And I saved it for morning just so that I could commune with it, because I had read Emoto's book also by that time. And I was like, something is very interesting here with this water. I'm actually feeling more energy. I feel more expanded. I feel relaxed. I didn't have any digestive issues, and I never drink water while I'm eating. Well, sometimes I drink a Pellegrino, but I'm Italian. I have to represent. Anyway.
Yes.
So then, and then I started selling the machines, and I still occasionally will sell one because I still truly believe in this Kangen water machine. So Lisa, tell me what you love about this particular machine and what it does, because it's like a dial-up, y'all, where you can do anywhere from acid water to really alkaline water. And it's not really good to drink the alkaline when you're eating, but I'd love for you to go into a little bit of that for our listeners. It's like a Kangen water commercial. They should be sponsoring me, Anyway.
They should. Maybe after this. Well, they've been around for quite some time, and it's a medical grade. Not only can you add filters to the water, but it electrolyzes the water. So it alkalizes and electrolyzes the water. So it's like living water. It's the closest thing to drinking naturally sourced spring water, which is what our ancestors grew up drinking, before everything was kind of contaminated and stripped of a lot of its minerals. So in that sense, it's the closest thing. And one of the coolest experiments you can do if you have a Kangen water, besides trying it yourself and seeing how you feel, when you run the Kangen machine, and it has powerful magnets inside that are electrolyzing the water. So it's using electromagnetism. It takes the parts of the water that are, the contaminants, things that don't belong there, along with the filter, that filters out, very similar to like reverse osmosis. But then the next step that makes Kangen different is it's structuring the water. And that's the biggest difference. So that when it comes out, it is, you can hear the hydrogen in the water. If you put if you light a lighter next to the water, you can hear the popping. So I see a lot of influencers online. They're like, oh, buy my hydrogen tabs and put it in your water. And like, I just try to stay away from as many supplements as possible. So the Kangen comes out with hydrogen in the water. So if you were to run your tap water and hold a lighter next to it, you wouldn't hear anything. And we've done this. You run the Kangen, and put a lighter next to it, and it starts popping. That's hydrogen gas. So it's already in this state that is the perfect state of water that you want on the cellular level inside your body. And that was like that, plus how amazing I felt. And then like watching all my plants grow.
I know, right? Because you can give it to your plants as well. That we use the Kangen water for the plants also.
Yep.
And they thrive. I tell you, orchids love Kangen water. And the water loves to contribute too. I know that sounds like a weird thing to say, y'all, but you know, this kind of water really does, well, all water wants to contribute, I'm sure, on the planet. Yeah. But it's almost as if when I was communing with this water, it was smiling. And I could just perceive how much it wanted to be a part of, contributing to me and my makeup and all of that. And I do remember, it's so funny because my friend couldn't exactly explain everything. Easy for me to say. So he had his sponsor come to my house, and I had two other friends that were going to buy under me if they decided they liked this water. And she did do the lighter thing. And she was so funny, very Southern girl, Lisa. And she goes, yeah, my son is an alcoholic, but he drinks this water and it sobers him right up. I was like, huh?
You're like, okay, random selling point, but we'll go with it.
It was the weirdest. But I could understand that. It would have an effect on his cells, being more hydrated and probably snap him out of a hangover quicker or whatever. I don't know. But
that's fascinating. And I love too that it has like the different settings, like you were saying, so you can make it very, very acidic. You can make it very alkaline. There's one that's like slightly below neutral, like level 6. You can use it to wash your face and you can feel a difference. Like I've washed my face with tap water and I've washed my face with beauty water. It's called level 6. And it just like, allegedly you don't even need to use like a cleanser. You just use this beauty water. And it's the perfect pH to clean your skin without putting chemicals on your body. You can use it to rinse pesticides off of your produce, all kinds of stuff. So it's pretty, in that sense, when you look at, in terms of the investment and how much we were personally spending on like spring water, because we don't have, a spring nearby on our property or whatever, it pays for itself in dividends. But I think the biggest thing that I've learned over time is that variety of water is now kind of what I'm more interested in. So that you're not only drinking super high pH water. And on that note, we probably should tell everyone that most of the bottled water you see, especially in plastic bottles, that is advertised as like alkaline water, high pH, unless it specifically says like spring water, bottled and filtered at the stores, it's most likely added chemicals and synthetic vitamins, minerals to make it alkaline. It's not, naturally alkaline. Like
this one actually says purified water enhanced with minerals for a crisp taste.
Right.
Enhanced with minerals.
Yeah.
This one's Pure Life. Yeah. And I love it says healthy hydration. And then it has a little exclamation point on it. It says, recycle me. So, it's like, they seem really friendly, the colors on it are really nice and all that. But, anyway, because I remember you saying this, we work out together, you guys, which, that's why we had Lisa on earlier, because we were talking about the Green Door Life, and we'll have all that information for you as well. In fact, I'll also have the link to that conversation if you guys are interested. But I remember you bringing that up during one of the workouts, and I was like, tell me more about that.
Yeah. And it's like it's kind of that like greenwashing or green labeling trend. As soon as the marketing company gets a hold of, people are willing to spend way more money on organic or whatever, gluten-free or, high alkaline water. And then they're like, how do we do this without like, how do we do this to like make max profit? It's tap water with chemicals.
There you go.
You really want to make sure that you're getting spring water. And I would recommend one of our favorite brands is Mountain Valley. I'm saying that right. Mountain Valley Spring in the green. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't happen to have any on me right now, but that is one of my favorites when I'm out. If I see it and I'm thirsty and I don't have anything with me, then I'm super happy to be able to pick that one up. So, yeah. And I think it's Publix that actually has it in the refrigerator if you want to buy one like that. Shout out to Publix. Anyway.
So tell me about, where did you kind of dive into the next level with water in terms of like deuterium and deuterium depletion?
Well, okay, so I have a very special body. Should we tell people what deuterium depletion is? Can you go into detail about that first before I go into my story? Because I've got a story for Shori.
So I'm very surface level with this. There's incredible like quantum biologists out there where I've kind of like learned the basic details, but deuterium is a hydrogen isotope. So there's different isotopes of hydrogen, and deuterium depletion is of interest because allegedly we as modern humans can have an overload of deuterium, which is not necessarily the hydrogen isotope that we want in this like max amount.
Okay. So I'm trying to remember his name, Dr. Karp. I can't remember his first name. He is the guy that created Miracle Noodle. I don't know if you're familiar with that brand.
Yeah.
I'm also an influencer for Miracle Noodle. And it happened by accident because I'm gluten-free. I have actual reactions. I have family members that have a terrible allergy. They're celiac. And I'm not celiac, but I can get rosacea. And so my allergist was basically saying, you're not celiac now, but if you continue, there's a possibility you could develop it. And I watched my niece actually develop it. She had 2 celiac children, but she didn't eat that way. And then she actually developed it as well. So wow. I have a very, very special body. I have, low blood sugar. I have thalassemia, which is a Mediterranean form of anemia. I still have shrapnel in my body, which sometimes causes problems. I have no twitch muscles in my right leg. There's all these little things. So I'm always looking to find balance. Mm-hmm. And in 2019, I got really sick in September. My body was dying. I thought that it was maybe some of the heavy metals leaching because I'd had problems with that before, and I'd had to do intravenous shots of iron and things like that to get everything back up again. They did a thing where I went to a holistic person as well as regular doctor, and they were, I had to let my hair grow out because this is not my natural hair color, but I had to let it grow out, and they scraped some of the hairs because the hair actually holds on to all the information of what's going on with your body. And we sent that off to a lab, and I had an overflow, and it was all, and okay, so now I'm getting ahead of myself. I actually had COVID before we knew what it was because my lungs were crystallizing. They asked me if I was a vapor, and I said, no, I don't vape. Were you ever around it? So I said, well, I'm a singer, I perform, and there's always people vaping. And they said, well, that's it. So the doctors, we're talking about the medical doctors, were saying that I was around all these people vaping. I needed to start wearing a mask to protect myself.
God.
Here I was wearing a mask, to protect myself, and I was actually protecting everybody else because I had COVID and I was a long hauler, and it totally imbalanced my body. And then I had a conversation with Dr. Karp, which I had done a couple of his cleanses occasionally. I was doing it every change of the seasons, and then I discovered that was actually depleting my body also. Sorry, Dr. Karp, but it is an amazing, the Miracle Noodle guy. It is an amazing cleanse if you want to do a quickie. Mm-hmm. Then I would recommend it maybe once a year if you want to just kind of clean out your system. But that's how I first even became aware that could happen. And so it was a matter of, okay, get your shit together again, Rue, and start being more serious about, the food you're eating, the water you're drinking, and all the things. And I couldn't get out of bed, you guys. I mean, I'm not lying when I said I had to have a cane to get to the mailbox.
Oh,
And Lisa has seen me, so she knows, I mean,
I
y'all
can't.
are on YouTube. Welcome to the gun show, y'all,
That's right. I'm like, you with a cane. I can't even fathom.
Well, imagine me in a wheelchair after, what happened in India. I was in a wheelchair for almost 2 years off and on with surgeries. So, like I said, I have a very special body. I don't have twitch muscles in my right leg, so I don't even feel some of the stuff we're doing in the workout. You poke me with a pin, and until it
Wow.
goes through about this far, I'm not going to really feel it in certain
Oh,
areas. So
so
anyway, that's a little bit about me and how I discovered what was going on. So that was early 2020, and Dr. Karp had me talking to some other people in his team about what I could do to balance my body and get it. And water was one of the most important factors. So I was like, are you getting enough water? Are you getting enough clean water? We determined I was drinking too much Pellegrino in place of regular water, which I can't remember now why that's not a great idea.
right.
But I love Pellegrino so much. I mean, sometimes if I'm having, because y'all know that I love gin, but sometimes, I'll make like a gin spritzer, and it's like, Pellegrino with a splash of gin and a lemon, which is also really good to add to water, by the way. Which we should get into the benefits of that as well. But I don't know if I was helpful with my information or not, but that's kind of what got me serious again, and I have not quit. And here we are, 2023. So
Did that doctor recommend like deuterium depleted water and Kangen water to you?
Yes.
Okay.
He said, are you drinking Kangen? Because I told him I had a Kangen machine. I said, yeah, but you know what I was doing, you guys, is if you let the Kangen water sit, it's not going to have the effects that it normally would. So I have a water jug in my kitchen that I fill it up, and and it's like our everyday drinking water for everybody, but it's after, I don't know, I can't remember what it is, 2 or 3 hours. It's like it's not got the juice anymore. So what I do is I start out in the morning drinking Defiance Fuel. You guys really need to freaking sponsor me because I talk about you all the time. This water, I mean, I love the way, let me get my big girl glasses on so I can quote here what I'm saying. It's 33.8 ounces. It is premium structured water, which is what we was talking about. It's got a pH of 7.4. There's a full liter here, and it's infused. It's purified, mineralized, harmonized, and it's infused with, oh gosh, now I'm forgetting what I'm going to say. Magnesium and potassium, which, keeps you from cramping when you got that combination going on. So what I do is I drink a whole one of these, and it's in the right type of bottle where it won't leach. And then, BPA free. And then I go to my Kangen machine and I fill it up, and I sip on that next. So, but I don't fill up. I go halfway because I know I'm going to drink that, and then I'm going to do it halfway again because I want to get the benefits. So I make sure I get a full bottle of the Kangen after I do this water as well. So
nice.
Yeah. Good
and
water.
I think that's where having that variety is really, that's kind of where I've found myself at, lately, of getting those different pHs. And in that sense, it's kind of like water, like your food. You kind of want that variety. The Kangen water we drink is very, very alkaline, so like 9.0. And so that, having more spring water, which is usually the pH is more like closely related to your pH in your system.
Right.
It's kind of nice to have that variance.
You guys, you can overdo it too.
Yes.
To detriment, which I sort of swung the other way after I talked to Dr. Karp. I kind of went overboard. I have a tendency. It's like I used to brush my teeth after everything I ate, and I finally went, okay, if I just floss and rinse, it's going to be okay.
And your gums are receding.
I actually had the gum surgery, the cadaver.
Me too.
Did you? Oh my.
Same. They're like, you are so aggressive with the teeth brushing. I'm like, what? It's like, how can you overdo it? It's too much.
Right.
Barely too much.
Oh my goddess, I had no idea we were twinsies. So anyway, so I cut it back. I only brush in the morning and in the evening unless I've had a very highly garlicky meal. I do floss after every meal. And nice. I do gargle after every meal. Natural gargle stuff. That could be a whole nother podcast.
Yes.
But so okay. So here's another one I really like, but I love it. It says, still purified water with electrolytes added for taste. But this water is another one that I feel super hydrated when I drink it. Have you ever had Path?
I have. I've had it at the airport, when there's, if it's between that and like, Dasani or
Yeah.
any water owned by Coca-Cola. Sorry. Coca-Cola. There's some interesting like TikToks and videos you can find of like Dasani water like surviving, like staying in liquid form, surviving like Arctic freezes where everything else is frozen. And there's like a bottle of Dasani water in someone's car and it doesn't freeze. So whatever chemicals, no, I'm like you were saying, water snob, that would be me. You can get so sensitive to different types of water. Like I can just taste.
I don't like the way Dasani tastes, which is why I don't drink it, but I had no idea that they put chemicals in it is that so they can keep it bottled longer?
Oh yeah. Because
I think what?
Like people don't consider is, if you're having water delivered or especially plastic is not meant to get really hot or really cold. And, you just don't know where it's been carted around. So you always want to look for glass if possible. I've seen a lot of these like aluminum cans pop up lately. Yes.
And I save them and I put my water in them because it's just exactly the right size if I want to just stick it in my big purse, y'all. Because I go to the restaurant and they come out with the water. I'm like, I'm not gonna drink. I'm not gonna drink that. Right. I got my bougie water right here.
Yep. Yep.
And I got to tell you that people they see me coming. They know now that so they'll bring water to everybody else. I'll teach a class and we usually go out to lunch together. And then they're all like, "What are you doing?" I said, "It's my bougie water. Don't judge. Don't judge me."
Right.
Your nasty water that I don't know where they got it from, or whatever. So yeah. So what about this baby? What do you think about this?
Yeah, so just in general, coconut water, is as natural and organic as you can get it, can be very hydrating.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't survive 100% forever without some sort of natural spring water. I'm obsessed with survival shows like Naked and Afraid. You can learn so much about the human body and nutrition from survival shows. That's also kind of where I learned a lot about water. And so it's like you can survive 30 days without food, but you can only go, 3 days in normal temperatures without water, even less if it's super hot. But
wow.
These survivalists they're experts on the human body and nutrition and water. And they know they know everything about contamination and how to source like spring water coming up from the ground. They, you could watch that show and learn how to create your own natural filter. And it's through like different layers of carbon, like rocks and soil and things, and it'll naturally filter your water in the wild. That's kind of like my 5 to 10 year dream is like to have property, maybe in Tennessee. Whereas the one place,
it's beautiful here.
It is. And when I think of Tennessee, I think of water because it's one of the last states in the United States that's not in a drought. So great, like water level.
We're surrounded, girl. We surrounded lakes and all the things.
Totally. And so that's my ultimate dream. You can, if you have property and people are interested in this, you can have your water tested. You always want to test for any kind of contaminants or runoff. If they're, like some water under the ground, if you're looking at well water or you have a natural spring, you want to make sure that, there wasn't a pig farm nearby that has like all kinds of contaminants that's been flooding your land for a while. But there's so
protect any pigs, okay? Just so you know. I don't want the hate mail, y'all.
No hate mail. There's like most of this information you can look up online. You can have your tap water tested. I think
they have kits. Did you know? Were you aware that they have kits where you can test your? Okay.
Yes.
So you guys, that's very inexpensive. Get on the Amazon. Okay, Amazon plug for you. And get your test kits. And I actually check the pH in my regular tap water. It's a little strip, and it turns a certain color. And I test it about once a month, just to make sure that we're not, because we don't have a filter on the whole house. The Kangen water machine is filtering, so you don't want to have the filter on the house already. And yeah, so anyway,
And I'm so glad I was discussing that on one of our group calls recently. And from what I've researched, and actually I had one of our clients follow up and say, I had a whole house filter and it was a disaster. The problem with the whole house filter is they're filtering it before it goes through your pipes, but you actually want super clean water going through your pipes so it doesn't have like bacteria build up and stuff. So that has actually led to more issues. And then your water bill is going to be through the roof if you have like a reverse osmosis water filter at the whole house level.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, thank goodness I never made, I was so close to making that purchase. I was like, I'm going to get a whole house filter and my Kangen filter and all my shower filters. And then the more I read about it, I was like, actually, that's not a good, you want it at the
I took all my shower filters off the minute I read that. I was like, oh, back before they did the whole house filtering thing. And then I remember my contractor, when I rebuilt, because I gutted my home and rebuilt it to move my mom in, added on. And he kept trying to convince me. And I was convinced he must be getting a kickback, because I was like, dude, how many times do I have to tell you? I don't want it. I do not want it. I have what I need right here. That little machine's not going to be able to. I said, well, I'm not going to shower with it. I mean, I do shower my face with it.
Right.
But, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Anyway. So what was her disaster story? I'm curious.
Just, issues with the pipes, with the buildup and contamination there. So really, it's an incredible thing that we have running water available. Like we could just turn on a faucet and here comes water. It's actually good that it's clean. It's chemically stripped in that sense to protect your pipes, so that bacteria and harmful things don't grow. However, most of it is, full of chemicals that we don't need to be drinking or putting on our skin. So your skin is such a huge organ that I think a lot of people don't think about. People who are eating organic forget that, well, it's also like what is absorbed through your skin. So from beauty products to water to all these things. And all this to say, I think it's really easy to go down that rabbit hole of fear of like, fluoride and chlorine and everything's trying to kill me. And like, I've been there, and that's also not great for your body. Like just living in fear state, not a great place to be. So I also like to remind myself, like, remember, like the water book, you could take a glass of water and just hold the intention of like clean, healing, beautiful water. And that can also have an impact on your body.
I have to tell you, Lisa, I'm such a water snob. Well, I'm a snob, period. Y'all know. I like the finest things in life. I like drinking out of a beautiful crystal glass. And in the mornings when we were working out, I was trying to drink out of the bottle. I went, what am I doing? So now I have a glass sitting by my big screen TV, because I'm watching y'all on the, I plug the computer in, and that's how I can see you guys so well. And I just take the bottle and just keep pouring, and then I drink, and then I, because it's like a celebration.
Yes.
So everybody keeps their fine china for only special meals, and every day is special.
Wait,
I eat fine china every day.
I love this so much. I have my great grandma's, 1930s champagne crystal glasses just sitting and never I don't even hardly drink alcohol. I am totally
fine. You can drink water out of them.
I'm sold.
This glass that I'm holding up, for those of you that are not watching on YouTube because you're idiots, this is a crystal glass from Italy.
Yes.
And I could I might chip one or something.
Yeah.
So what?
Right.
What?
Yeah.
At least life's short to drink out of plastic. Same with like plastic utensils. I bring my own utensils whenever I go to a place I know has plastic.
You are so cute.
I bring my own chopsticks, but they're like looking at me like, what are you doing? Well, I like the finer things. My mother loves a tablecloth. So when we go to restaurants that don't have tablecloth, she asks for another napkin so she can have her tablecloth. She's very refined.
She's a classy lady.
Be that. And she taught me all them ways, y'all. Not the way I'm talking, but So the next time you're here, Lisa, you're going to have to come over and have Celeste's famous pasta sauce.
I cannot wait. My inner Italian child is already doing somersaults.
And we'll be eating off the fine china and drinking out of the fine, even if you're not drinking alcohol. It's so funny. I just had a birthday, had a big one. I have 5 bottles of wine now and 2 bottles of Prosecco at my refrigerator. I'm like, I don't know when I'm going to open it. I mean, I'm not poo-pooing wine. I'm just not a big wine drinker.
Yeah.
I'll have a glass sometimes. I can drink in Italy, which is weird. The wine doesn't bother me there, but
Yes.
the wine here, the same thing with the rosacea that I get. But, when people come over for dinner, I'll pop one open like that. But it's just funny. It's funny.
Yes.
But, anyway. And then I have an opportunity to use the really nice wine glasses.
That's right.
So all
making
the things.
Life beautiful and celebrating.
I want to know something personally because I've heard you and Shannon talk about this. Shannon Morse, y'all, she's the other co-founder besides Lisa Kirby for the Green Door Experience. Y'all are idiots if you're not checking it out. Just you want a balanced lifestyle, food, nutrients, workouts, meditation, yogas, the things. Just check it out. It may not be for you, and I'm just teasing. You're not idiots. Well, Anyway, I digress. You guys talk about adding salt to regular tap water or adding lemon to water. Now, when I'm making my little gin spritzer, I put a lemon in it as well. And I don't know what that lemon's actually doing for me, but my body, I do this thing called kinesiology, which is muscle testing, and that's how I work with my clients. So they get exactly what their body requires. And my body, if I do that little gin spritz, it always wants lemon. So can you tell me more about the lemon and the salt additions that you guys always talk about and what that creates?
Yeah, absolutely. So really the salt, especially, particularly if you're using a salt that has like a mineral profile attached to it. So if you're using salt like Redmond sea salt is one of my favorites, or Celtic sea salt, or Himalayan salt, pink Himalayan
That's
salt.
my favorite. That's I grind that one all the time. That's my go-to.
And it you can really, again, when you fine tune and you become really sensitive to the signs and signals of your body, you can tell the difference between that and, table salt. So this unique salt has, minerals with it, like the way it was supposed to be. And that is the other aspect of hydration. So you have your water, but then if you're drinking a ton of water and you still just feel like cotton mouth or dehydrated, well, one, make sure that you're not depleting too much. So you can dehydrate your body by, alcohol, too much caffeine, lack of movement. That's another one that's fascinating. Mm-hmm. Lack of movement. When you go for a walk, I am mind blown, not just by the beneficial, physical aspects of walking, but it's also for cellular hydration. So you're moving, that lymphatic system is going, and you're moving nutrients and water all through your body. I digress. I could talk about walking forever. That might have to be a separate one. But with salt, that's the other piece of hydration. So if we were just to drink really clean water without minerals with it, you can dehydrate your body because your body has the sodium potassium pump that's always wants to be in the right ratio. We need more potassium than sodium. So usually our body's really good at balancing out through our diet, things that we might crave. If you crave a lot of salt, maybe you sweat a lot during your workout. Your body's really good at telling you what it needs. When you do a lot of heavy drinking of alcohol, your body probably craves more salt. That's why it's trying to get back that balance. For most people, because
beer and potato chips. Sorry. I don't drink beer, but I noticed that a lot of people that drink beer have their potato chips,
It's such a normal craving. So if you are, most modern humans are also dehydrating from blue light. So excess synthetic blue light can dehydrate the cells. So most of us are not only dehydrated, but then mineral deficient. And so something you can do is look at adding trace minerals to your water. If you're using a reverse osmosis filter, that's a non-negotiable. You need to be adding minerals to your water because it strips the water of that, unless it's embedded in the machine and adds them back in. But in general, it's, you want to make sure that you have that balance, and really listening to your body. So what's fascinating to me is like, intuitively, Rudrani, like what feels good because you're so in touch with your body signals. So that aspect of the lemon is for vitamin C and coming from a whole food source, which helps with hydration.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting because, okay, so I was a big Emergent C fan for a very long time. I would put 2 packets, y'all, and a half a bottle of the Defiance Fuel, and I would drink that in my hot tub. And all of a sudden, I noticed that I wasn't really feeling so good with it, but I hadn't been muscle testing. So here's the thing, y'all, I wasn't asking my body if it wanted it. I just assumed, well, it's good stuff. It's got electrolytes in it. Da, 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 da. I could just drink that, and that'll be great. No, I've got 2 full boxes of it, and my body has not wanted it in such a long time. And I was like, what's the deal, body? And I don't really know why it suddenly, I'm looking at a bird, y'all. Gosh, it's like squirrel. Hi, bird. Anyway, she's literally looking right at me. She's a baby. She's a baby. Oh, hi. So it makes me want to cry. Sorry. Anyway, stop looking, Rue. I love my birds so much, Lisa. Anyway, why would my body suddenly not want emergency?
My guess is the synthetic vitamins and minerals. So, for example, with the vitamin C, you're getting vitamin C from a lemon is completely different than the added vitamin C that you find added back to all of these. Sometimes even water, they'll add synthetic vitamins and minerals from things like ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid is not real vitamin C. It does not even contain anything remotely close to real vitamin C. And so in general,
where do they get it from? Why are they calling it that? Who are they? We need to get the police on this.
I mean, everything, when you look at there's a beautiful book, there's many books by Michael Pollan. I'm blanking on the name of his one book. It's so eye-opening about why our food system is so jacked in the United States. But essentially, people are being paid to strip down and produce food in such a minutia, like a small component. So instead of selling like whole wheat, they want it stripped down into the smallest component ever so that piece becomes sellable, and it's stripped of all its vitamins and minerals, and they're going to add it back because they're going to buy this ascorbic acid in bulk and blah, blah, blah. It's all about max profit. That's all it is. It's so much more expensive to have the real thing. I mean, that's ultimately the why behind it. It's
well, that's what brings me to these kinds of drinks where they sell them. I recently had a birthday party, so we had these for like mixers if people wanted them, and it says right on it, it's got your vitamin A, your biotin, your nice, what is that? Niacin?
Yeah.
I'm not pronouncing it right. I don't even know what pantothenic acid is. Vitamin D3. B6 and B12. So they're selling this, and then they say it has antioxidants and
it's all synthetic.
Vitamin A. It's low calorie, So they do all this stuff. This was grapefruit flavored, 0 sugar with vitamins and antioxidants. So now people are buying this thinking that they're doing something good for their body, when actually
they're not.
Getting absorbed.
I don't even take, people always come to us, what supplements do you take? I'm like, I don't take supplements synthetic. So the only thing you really want to look at, your body is so freaking genius and smart. So we thought we could outsmart God. We're just going to shove down all these synthetic supplements and vitamins and minerals. And then the body's like, actually, no, that doesn't work the same as the real thing. And it throws off your natural levels. So when you have too much of one thing, especially when it's synthetic, it can throw off the other thing. So just as an example, a whole bunch of people during COVID in 2020 were like upping zinc. They're all taking synthetic zinc, right? Now everyone's freaking magnesium depleted because everything is balanced in the body. Everything has this perfect ratio of existence. So it's like, if you want more zinc, eat oysters, or have like oyster powder, have the supplement from the whole food source that has cofactors with it for better absorption and to keep your body in homeostasis.
I love this so much. You guys, I used to be so addicted to vitamins. And
Mm-hmm.
what I learned, because I would muscle test myself, oh, I'm muscle testing for this, so it must be good for my body. But what had happened, and this is the truth, you guys, and you can actually do this to yourself. If you buy a story, you've
Yes.
brainwashed yourself, and your body loves you so freaking much that it will buy your point of view.
Yes.
Okay. So if you have an idea that emergency is going to actually help your body, and everyone has told you that, well, that's, it's because I remember when I would go get colonics, I would do these cleanses, and the guy would always give me 2 emergencies afterwards, little packets to replenish my body. And I always thought, well, that's kind of interesting. And so that's how I'd even gotten hooked on it. I didn't bother to research. I didn't ask my body. So this is what I do, Lisa. It's a little trick I use. I
Yeah.
destroy and uncreate my relationship with this reality, everyone and everything in it. And then I'll say, body, what's true for you? What would you like to have today?
I love that. So you're not it's almost like a deconditioning ritual before you ask it. Ooh, that's so
Absolutely. Even
good.
when I go to restaurants, I let my body pick what it wants to eat.
Oh,
Now I did the three-month challenge, and I was like, okay, body, this is the deal and deliver. I want to do this. I want to see if I can learn how to love bread again.
yeah.
Because I programmed my body to be like, no bread for you. I mean, I would have it occasionally. I would have a loaf of gluten-free bread in my freezer for a year before it got used up. But during
Wow.
the Green Door, I was eating so many sandwiches that I was having to buy 2 loaves at a time. And then I was like buying different kinds of gluten-free breads.
Yeah.
And then I did Ezekiel once, but it did create a little bit of a thing for me, which is a whole food bread. I love it, sprouted bread.
Mhm.
But I did the 3 months, and now I'm not logging unless I'm not sure of
Mhm.
the balance and all the stuff. Like I said, I'm going to have the other conversation in the notes if you guys want to know what I'm
So,
talking about
Rajani,
microbiotic eating.
what's your go-to like muscle testing on the go?
Oh, well, it changes because my body, I'm talking like my body's a separate thing,
Mhm.
but I do carry with me. I love these because these are really balanced. I do carry these protein bars with me, which
Nice.
is it's Kirkland's, believe it or not. I was like shocked that my body wanted it. It's chocolate chip cookie dough, y'all,
They're so
and
good.
it's so balanced. 10 net carbs, 21 grams of protein, and 10 grams of fiber, and 2 grams of sugar. But it's like almost perfectly balanced.
Right.
So I have one in the car always. I have one in my office if I get stuck in a meeting and I can't. I have one by my bed if I wake up in the middle of the night. Because here's the thing, y'all. I was starving myself and I didn't even know it. I wasn't eating enough food. And when I started to do this workout program and eating, they were like, you got to eat 4 or 5 meals a day. I'm like, how? I only eat 2.
Right. How do I get it all
Coffee milk is one, and I was drinking my coffee black because my
in?
body didn't want the como se dice, so what do you call it? Didn't want the milk, what is it? I don't know, the milk
Like
products, whatever. It just didn't want that.
creamer. So
Mhm.
do you use like a pendulum to check
No, I
in?
use my body. I mean, I have one. For those of you that are in, I haven't used it in a long time. It's actually got a card in it. But I would just, when I was doing readings for people, so see how it's just swinging? If it was
Yeah.
something I needed to tell them, like, okay, go ahead and show them, it would go to the right. And if it was something that they didn't need to know back because it wasn't going to be a contribution, then go ahead and show them. It would go to the left, like that. And then
Oh
if
my
it dropped to neutral, then I had to re-ask the question. So it's
Wow.
very smart. Could you go to the right again, please? Faster. Faster. And I can do it with anything I'm holding.
Wow.
I just have my fingers like this, and I'm like, okay, show me yes, show me no. Cool. But I use my body now. When I get a yes, my como se dice, what do you call it? My heart chakra opens, and when I get a no, I feel like somebody's squeezing my head.
Yeah.
So everything talks to you, people. Like I have this mother tree in my yard. She is beautiful. Oh my God, I love her so much. I'm so glad I didn't chop her down. I thought I was going to build a pool and I didn't. But I had the guy cut her way back. And I wasn't home when he did it. And I came home and I wept. She had like one branch with 3 leaves on it. I thought, what did he do? He hacked up my beautiful maple. And I kid you not, now she's full of branches and leaves.
Wow.
She is still bright green because she's a mother tree. She's the one talking to all the other trees in the neighborhood, and they're losing their leaves like crazy. And her leaves are green.
Wow.
I'll take you a picture and I'll show you because you'll see all the leaves behind her from all the trees that are next to her that are falling. And I talk to her every day. She's beautiful. And you can talk to your body. You can talk to the trees. I talk to that little bird. I mean, when I saw it just for that moment, I was like, hi, baby. Hi, baby bird. Thank you for being in my yard. And it just looked at me because it can perceive that energy.
Oh, absolutely.
So this is a lot of the stuff that I teach in my classes. You might want to take a class sometime.
I know. I always say like your best like instant manifestation of your mood is like go for a walk in nature, and if all the animals are coming to you, then you're good.
I'm a buddy magnet, and I have a squirrel that I talk to. Really close to me. I can't touch him. He won't let me touch him, but he will let me just be right there and go, and he does it right back to me. So cute.
So good.
Yeah.
I love it so much. I mean, ultimately that's truly what this all is the interconnectedness. I was just listening. I have this 1970s like classic rock gold playlist that reminds me of my parents because they played all that music for me growing up. And I'm like listening to some of the lyrics now. When I was a kid, I had no idea what the heck they were. And I'm listening to this one song by like Crosby, Stills and Nash. It's called Woodstock. And I was just listening to this morning with my kids, and it's talking about we're stardust. We are, whatever. Like 8 billion year old carbon. And I'm like, yes, we are. Like, it really is. It's so beautiful and connected, and water is such a huge part of it. I think that's the anchor when I think about how much of us is water. And then you keep going to the smaller part, and you get on the quantum level and you're like, well, I don't know where I end and you begin. So it's like we have our point of consciousness that is distinct, but we're all connected. Literally, we're made up of the same stuff. Yes, and that's the part that's just so beautiful.
I mean, we're made of the trees too, you guys. We're connected to nature in such a way that there is really no difference just because we look different, So try that one on for size. Man, I can talk to you forever. I really could. And I know I'm trying to be mindful of the time because I know you didn't have a whole lot of time for this, but I have to ask you, and we're probably going to have you back on the podcast. I'm not joking. It is called the Choosing Happiness Podcast. I even forgot to do a little space for my sponsor. So you guys, it may seem like our conversation just got chopped in half at one point, but I got to put the sponsor in. Anyway, I usually pause us, and I forgot to do it this time. Right, so I'm all over the place. I know my ADD is kicking in big time. How do you get your happy on? What's one thing you do just for you to choose your happy?
Dancing. Dancing, 100%. Yeah.
Oh my goddess. I love that so much. We're going dancing when you come. I just last Monday, I taught a bars class over the weekend, and one of the girls is a dance instructor, like ballroom and cha-cha and all that. And she was like, you need to come dancing with us tonight. And it was a Sunday. And I said, girl, I've been going nonstop. She goes, well, we're dancing Monday too. I went dancing with them. My intention was to go just to the 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then they had another band coming on at 9:30. And they were like, you're going to have to stay. You're going to have to stay. I was there until it was like the same story with Shannon because I met her dancing one night. That's how we literally danced with her and her partner, Tim, the whole night, the whole time.
Yeah.
And, didn't go pee, didn't have one drink. I mean, I went to my car and pounded water the minute I got there because I wasn't going to drink their water for sure,
Yes.
But it was so much fun. And it was a repeat of that. And what was so funny was one of the guys there I'd met on an airplane ride when I was flying to Puerto Vallarta last year. And I didn't know he was a ballroom dancer. And now we've exchanged numbers, and I'm like, yeah, let me know when you guys are going dancing. It's so much fun, y'all.
It's the best.
Moving my body. So I'm going to incorporate that now. One of the other guys there, I'm going to have him do private lessons with me. We're going to trade some stuff because he's interested. And
so
he's been
good.
for like 20 years. Yeah, really cool. All those guys were just beautiful. And they would come up and ask you. It was different than the mosh pit dancing, which is what I was doing with Shannon.
Yeah.
You know, and Rafa. But this was, a guy would come up and he'd put his hand down. Oh, I felt like such a lady. I had my high tickety ass heels on, and I went out on the floor, and then I sat down and somebody else comes, and it was so much fun. Anyway.
It's the best. It's the best.
So, I might have to have that guy on me. Yeah.
I feel like it's a form of meditation for me. Like I go into a trance state and get lost in the rhythm and the music. I feel like it is so innate. I just think of all my aunties and my grandma and my mom. And whenever there's like, from Santana, anything with a rhythm and a drum. And it's like all of a sudden you look around and all of the beautiful matriarchs of my family are just like shaking their ass and moving around. And I'm like, this is literally
performing, seeing the people moving on the dance floor. I even have a song that I wrote called Get on the Dance Floor. Get on the dance floor, and I tap dance. People love it.
How do we, we need to find your music. I didn't even know this is like, every time I talk to you, I'm like, what is this hidden talent that we don't know about?
Okay, I'm going to send you the link, and I'm going to have it below for all y'all as well. Free music. RuRocks.com are my originals.
Okay.
I produced them. I sang all the parts, and I told my people what I wanted them to play, except for the lead guitarist. I let him do his own thing because I can't teach him nothing. He's that good. But my bass player, I would tell him what I wanted, and their keyboardist is great. I mean, I love my people are so good. Oh my Lord.
I already see the next retreat. I'm like, I already see the next Green Door Life retreat. We have one of our clients' husbands. He's like a salsa DJ, and I just like see you singing and then everybody dancing.
I would love that. Okay, yes. It's a date. It's
okay.
a date.
Beautiful.
All right, my love. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I'm going to make sure to have all the deets below where you can find this beautiful lady, where you can find the Green Door, their last conversation with me, Miracle Noodle, I don't know, Kangen Water, we'll get it all in there.
Yes.
And Mandu, who is, my sponsor for this podcast. So thank you so much, Mandu. The electrocution workout, they don't like for me to say that, but you come next time, you've got to try it. It's so wild. All these Kenjis in the soup. Anyway, I digress. All right, you guys, if you enjoy this conversation, please, hit the subscribe button, share it with others you think it could contribute to. We sure do appreciate it. And I read every comment and answer every question. So if you got something to say, tell me about it. All right. Until next time, y'all. Ciao, ciao for now.
Ciao.
Bye.
Mandu is a boutique fitness studio concept, and we are actually the first FDA cleared EMS training workout. And what we do essentially is that we will have a client come in, we will hook them up to a whole body EMS suit, and then we perform a workout on a medical grade device called an eFit device. And that device will send an electrical current to their body through electrodes in these suits that we put on them. And this electrical current is just basically stimulating the electrical current that you already have inside your body. So everybody is made up of electrical impulses. It's what helps you walk, helps you move. We're tapping into that and making it stimulate it more to where we can cause a muscle to actually contract involuntarily. So we can actually create resistance without adding a load to the body. So that is why we, as you see online, it always says ultra low impact. It is scientifically proven. It is absolutely ultra low impact.
Thank you so much for choosing happiness. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe, share, and give us a like. And if you want more happy, subscribe to the Choosing Happiness membership, where you can play directly with me, Rudrani Devi, the Happiness Lady. How does it get any better than that?